up, my good people? Another week, another day, another dollar. We're back closer to some college football kicking off. It's week 0, basically. And we're 1 week away from the big boy games and
1 week away. We're almost there.
The big 3 games all play next Saturday, not this Saturday. There's a couple matchups this weekend, but this is basically your Florida State Seminoles preview to break down the Noles and what we think the Florida State Seminoles are going to do this upcoming season. Can they get better wins can they get more than 2 wins is the question. Can they improve by 1?
Where to start? We'll coming off a 2-10 season last year. Everything went wrong for Mike in the Seminoles. A lot of transfers in, a lot of transfers out. I don't think Mike realized this is going to be the new norm, or it should be the new norm, I should say. He fired some coaches, got some new coaches in, bring in a vet at offensive coordinator and one Gus Malzahn to try. This is a Hail Mary because
did Mike
it's not like Gus has been lighting it up the last couple years.
Yeah, did Mike hire his replacement?
Potentially. I mean, we really don't know. I mean, I like really sitting down and thinking about that hire. I'm not really a big fan of it. I think Gus is, an offensive genius back in 2010s.
Yeah.
Especially when they had Cam Newton and all, in that success at Auburn he had. But he hasn't been lighting it up the last couple of years with his play calling. I mean, you bring in Castellanos from Boston College via UCF, so they're familiar with each other. But I think for this to work, it's going to be on Herb Hand, the offensive line coach they brought in, who's been tied to the hip with Gus Malzahn for several years, and they're boys, and then bringing in Tim Harris at the wide receivers coach. He's going to be able to help you out with recruiting, but it seems like that's not what they want to do. But I think, like I say, Herb Hand is going to be the key. Can they get that offensive line working? Because that brought on a lot of issues they had last year. And like 2-10 is, well, I was going to say below the standard, but I don't know what's worse than below the standard. They just looked terrible last year.
Yeah, 2-10 is awful. Speaking of Herb Hand, like I actually like Herb Hand a lot. I got an opportunity to meet him a couple of times. What's wild about Herb Hand is he was the coach at West Virginia back in the day when one Franchot Boogie Allen went to school at West Virginia.
Yeah.
But then he, more recently, when Gus was at Auburn and Jeff was at Auburn, Coach Hand, he was the guy who always, came out to help us get the tickets, greet us, let us, have all the field access. And he was, super awesome guy at, Auburn. And then obviously he went over to UCF and now he's at Florida State. And yeah, he's a good offensive line coach and he's been around the block for a long time. So we'll see if his expertise can help mold and meld some of those offensive linemen. Word on the street was that they thought Florida State Norvell was going to hire Brandon Marion out of
I remember that.
That was where he was the hot name to be the guy to come to Florida State to bring the go-go offense over, and he ended up getting the head coaching. He got a head coaching job, so that was basically what changed that tune of going to a bigger Power 5 than where he was at UNLV to basically where he wants to be the man himself to try to obviously improve his stature to get a bigger head coaching position. So he figured the route of head coach would be faster than OC.
Well, not just that. I mean, I hate to poo-poo the Florida State offensive coordinator position, but you've seen what they've done at Sacramento State where Marion went. They're dropping bags on guys for a lower tier program that's trying to get big time Division I. I mean, they got Mike Bibby as the head coach for the basketball team. You got Shaq as the general manager. So they're out there spending money, and I think it might be a good situation from him for, like you say, to get that experience as a head coach. Because what if he goes there to Florida State and it doesn't work out the first year or so? The next thing you know, they're blaming him for different reasons, and then he's on to the next stop. Whereas he gets 3-4 years to make Sacramento State into something, so I think it was a good hire by them. You know, they spent a little bit of money. Will that offense work? I think Mike probably had to sit down and really think about those decisions. And he probably felt going with the veteran OC was probably the best thing. Like, we're not in those meetings, so we don't know ultimately if Marion turned him down to go to Sacramento.
He did.
State.
He did.
Oh, he did. So,
Yeah.
I think they're going to win more than 2 games.
Yeah.
They're going to win more than 2 games because they also changed defensive coordinators. Mike did a wholesale on the coordinator position. He brings in Tony White, who brings in Terrence Knighton, to be his D-line coach, another great recruiter and a guy that develops guys at the defensive line position. So we'll see what happens. And then you throw in the different guys he brings in from the transfer portal. I mean, we mentioned Castellanos, but I don't know about the guy. I mean, you got a 5'6" quarterback back there. He could either go good or bad. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, I mean, what's weird about Tommy Castellanos is he's not like a local guy, but he kind of is. Ware County is close to us here in North Florida. South Georgia is where they're at, and we would always do football camps. V-Man's parents and family live in the Ware County area, Waycross, kind of up in that area, and we do our football camp before the season. We would do a couple of days of practice up there, and literally Ware County High School is 5 minutes from where we do our practice at. And then also, they're in the close to the viewing area where we do give South Georgia love at Channel 4. And we talk about, some South Georgia teams even on the Varsity podcast with me and Justin. So I followed Tommy, and he did a hell of a job there. They won a state title. They were really good. He's kind of been that undersized guy. He's more of a mobile, scrambling type dual threat guy. And he had originally committed to Central Florida and went there before he went to play with O'Brien up at Boston College. So it's weird because he's a good player. Obviously he's kind of popped off on the mouth a little bit, and he's cashing some checks. We'll see if he can cash them. I mean, he's got confidence, so you can't say that. But things kind of went south at the end of the year last year, and he kind of, I guess, pouted about it, did whatever, got the bench, and so now it's like new scenery.
He did the same thing at UCF as he did at Boston College. So you have 2 great. I still give Gus Malzahn credit. 2 great offensive minds that you played for that somehow you didn't get along with. I mean, the UCF situation could be different just because of Dylan Gabriel and whoever else was at quarterback. He leaves there to get a fresh start at Boston College. He plays for the D coordinator now at Green Bay. Is it Helfrey? I think it's Helfrey.
Yeah,
they did okay. And then Bill O'B comes in, and O'Brien's known to be a hard-nosed, do it my way or the highway type coach. And like you say, the rumors came out and said they didn't get along and they weren't seeing eye to eye on play calls and all of that. And he bolted to go back with his old offensive coordinator. And I just don't know what to expect. They surrounded him with some skill guys with Squirrel White and Deuce Robinson, but Florida State did that last year, bringing in a lot of guys, the Roydells and all those guys, and then you have Akeem Williams leaving. And I think the problem with Florida State, there's just too much influx going on since that year where they had a really good year. Since then, I mean, I guess that was 2 years ago. It's just been, you can't put your finger on it.
Those portal guys were 2-year guys, and you had a veteran quarterback in Jordan Travis. That's why that kind of worked out. It's like Jordan Travis was a really good quarterback for the college game. He was really good. And then you hit on a guy like Keon. Like Keon Coleman is a baller, and you had him in the program for 2 years. Johnny Wilson, you had him for 2 years. So like those guys were big time weapons, and then you comboed it with some really good guys on that defensive end that were either recruited in or you hit on some portal guys. So
Jared Verse and Braden Fisk.
Right. That was a really good line. Those are, and that's the hard part about the portal.
Yeah,
is a lot of times it's a crapshoot. You gotta get the right. You gotta hit the right guy. You gotta get the right kind of guy that is either a really good player or somebody who kind of buys into your culture, kind of buys into what you're doing. And that definitely wasn't last year. And now the major question mark, is it is it this year? And especially when it is like, well, prime example, they missed on DJ. He was not a good quarterback. He had been up and down his whole career. So now you're putting all your eggs in the Castellanos bag, and you go back and look. His first year starting it was in 23 at Boston College, and he kind of was up and down that season. He had good games and bad games. They went 7-6 at Boston College that year, and he wasn't light the world on fire. And then last year he was your starter. They started off decently, and then things went awry there late in the year. And like I say, now he's hit the portal, and now again, all your eggs are in his basket. So if he's good, then you could be good. But I don't like Tommy Castellanos doesn't just like light the world on fire. Like, man, we got to watch out for Florida State.
All.
He's just got to be. I mean, you just want a serviceable guy. But again, when you go 2-10, like again, we're going to talk about it. Like, what's the floor? What's the ceiling? Like, what's the expectation level?
Yeah.
Like you got to go up, like you said, from 2-10.
Yeah.
But like it's just like you don't know. And the other thing too is Norvell's closed practice, so nobody really even knows what the hell's going on over there. I was going
to bring that up at some point. No one knows.
There's no like, you're getting some intel here and there, but it's not like
not much.
Nobody's really watching practice.
No.
Even the Gators have had some close practices, and they've had some open practices to portions of the media. They've also allowed access to
the first 15, 20 minutes of practice.
Not even that. They actually have the Gators are actually offering access to the guys who are in like Florida Victorious, the NIL package. Like if you pay into that and you're one of the boosters like that, you can get some like behind the scenes notes of even the scrimmage that I went to the other night that was closed just for former players. Like they had somebody there who actually broke down the scrimmage that I was at, and they basically let people see, so they kind of know what's going on. Like, oh, this guy's making plays or this guy's not. You don't have anything going on in Tallahassee, so
you don't know anything.
That's what I'm saying. I haven't seen as anything. As a fan, I'd be kind of like, dude, WTF, bro? Like I want to like.
I mean, even Mario kind of keeps it kind of locked down to a point. But he at least gives the media the first 15 to 30 minutes
right.
to see some drills, some things. And then, they move those guys out but they still get some intel out. But there has literally been nothing coming out of Florida State.
I can't tell you. I can't tell you at all. Like I say,
but I feel like, once again, Gus Malzahn has been around for a while. He ain't creating a new offense.
Yeah, it's gonna be. They're gonna be hurry up, super fast. They're gonna run that turbo, and
use his legs.
That's what I'm saying. That he'll have some creativity with that, with the run game, with that, which could be good. And you need that obviously as a part of your element. That's one of his strong suits. Is Castellanos can run really well.
Yeah,
he's a scrambling type of guy. Yes, they added Squirrel White. But again, they haven't hit on some of these transfers since 2 years ago. So that's a big deal. We're going to find out if they acquired the right talent and if they did the right evaluations.
I mean, looking at their projected depth chart, literally maybe 3 starters back, 2.5, because they have what I'm looking at, Landon Thomas at tight end, which he didn't start last year. He played a lot as a true freshman. And then Roydell Williams, who you're still not sure if it's Roydell or Cam going to be the guy.
I mean, that's good that they got both those guys back, and Jalen Lucas is on a lot of the comeback player award. He was the guy that was going to be focal in that offense.
Then you got Richie Leonard, but your whole offensive line, it's a whole new offensive line.
Yeah, and that's
all those guys transferred.
That's scary. That's scary. That's scary.
All your skill guys are gone, which is probably not a bad thing because their skill guys weren't the greatest last year.
Right.
So like I said, you bring in Deuce Robinson from USC, you bring in Squirrel Wright from Tennessee, and then you bring in a Gavin Blackwell from North Carolina.
Yeah, so Gavin's one of two. Gavin was one of my last 7-on-7 teams back in 2018. Mm-hmm. He's one of those. He's a super senior, and we were talking about him last week. We'll see what he can do, but again, it's just. When you have so much of the element of the unknown, that just makes it that much more trickier and that much I don't even know how to peg it,
Yeah. I mean, and then you flip it on the defensive side. 90% of your defensive line is gone. They weren't great anyway last year, but they're gone. You lose Patrick Payton to LSU. You lose what's his name? Shade Tree's son to Oklahoma. And then you just bring back Darnell Jenkins. Huh?
The Farmer League? The Farmer League?
Farmer graduated.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So you lose Darnell Jackson. Sorry, not Jenkins. Jackson is your only returning guy, and he didn't do crap last year.
Yeah.
So
their best player is probably Earl Little in the secondary.
Yeah. Earl Little's probably your best player. So, and I mean, you bring back Shaheem Brown.
Shaheem Brown's been around for a while. He's been around
for a while.
But you know what's crazy? Now here's what's wild. What I've heard, now this is what I did hear. My boy from Reigns is apparently taking some snaps back there and probably is the starting safety. KJ. Where's he at?
Kirkland?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
and like I say again, you're relying on KJ Kirkland from Reigns. He's a sophomore, redshirt sophomore, so he's been there 3 years. You know, he's the guy who's emerging to basically take a Shaheem Brown spot. But I guess that's good, healthy competition. The other guy that I hear has been showing out is the freshman from Cocoa too, Boggs at receiver. So
yeah, I have heard that. That's probably the only thing I've heard come out of Florida State.
Yeah, he's caught a ton of balls in high school, but again, you're relying on a freshman.
With that being said, your opening game is Alabama. So we'll find out a lot about that next week.
I don't think a lot of people are picking Florida State to win that one for sure. No. Luckily, they've got a couple layup games after that to kind of get right whatever happens in that game.
Well, also, I mean, you're going against a brand new starting quarterback in Ty Simpson. Jam Miller is going to be out for the first 4 games, they're saying. Yeah. So you're breaking in a new quarterback, a new starting running back, to which most people would be like, oh, you could just roll in another starting running back. But if that guy's not up on
I like Richard Young, though.
Yeah, but if he's not up on those pass protections and whatnot, running the ball, most running backs in college football can run the ball. It comes down to third down, and can you pick up the protections and know what you're doing to not get your quarterback killed? And it's still up to Ty Simpson to make the right checks, him and the offensive line, which I think Alabama's going to be better. It's going to be different, but they're going to be better. And, a defense is going to be flying around. So opening week, that's just a tough game for Florida State with a ton of changes. Like I said, they have a ton of changes. And I think they're going to win
the 2 touchdowns? You taking the 2 touchdowns?
I probably,
You'll take the 14?
No. Sorry.
Yeah, I was about to say I'll take Bama to cover that.
Yeah. I think it might be a little slow. It might be a little ugly breaking in unless Florida State's able to flip the field and get some turnovers and get some short drives and get in the end zone. I mean, I know we're going to talk about it next week, but now we're talking about Florida State. They're not beating Bama, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
I could be wrong, but I just don't see it with the amount of turnover with the coaching staff and players and bringing everyone in and trying to get everyone cohesive. Because like you said, even 2 years ago, you bring in Keon Coleman and you bring in a Johnny and a Jaheim Bell, but you still had the mainstay of Jordan Travis at quarterback.
Right.
And the offensive line was decent, was pretty good. And you had a good running game. So you could bring those wide receivers on and get that cohesion. And then, like you say, the defense was just lights out with a ton of veterans. But now, I just don't see it. And then looking at the schedule,
I was about to say that was my next thing. Let's break down the schedule here.
Let's break down the schedule.
Let's see how many wins you think they're going to get. And
by the way, we're past the 15 minutes. You thought that we were only going to have for that.
I'm giving them some love. I'm breaking it down for them Knowles fans out there. Ricky Hayden, I'm talking to you, buddy. Let's break it down. Obviously, we both don't see them beating Bama, but then after that, they get 2 layup games in East Texas A&M and Kent State. Those should be wins. So
they should be 2-1.
And I guess the question mark game is on the road at Virginia before you play Miami. Virginia hasn't been world beaters, but they've been kind of
they're tough. They've been tough sneaky at home.
That's what I'm saying. So I would give them that win just to be courteous.
Yeah. So then I'll say 2-2.
Yeah, then I'll say they're going to lose to Miami, and then I like Pitt this year. I like Pitt to be a surprise team in ACC. Yep. So I think they lose that game. I'll give them the Stanford win, even though I think that could be a sneaky road game.
What's that, 4 wins?
Yeah.
The Stanford game?
Yeah. So now what are they, 4 and 1, 2, 4 and 3?
4 and 3, yeah.
And I'll give them Wake too. So
Wake has a complete overhaul at Wake as well. So 4 and 4.
No, they'd be 4 and 3 at that point still.
Oh, going into the Wake game, so 5 and 3.
Yeah, I'll give them the Wake win.
Okay.
But here's the last 4 games now to close it out. So we
At
said 5.
Clemson.
So that's 8 games. They're 5-3. You're feeling
Yeah.
pretty good. They ain't beating Clemson. They're not beating Florida, in my opinion. So can they beat Virginia Tech and NC State? And that I think
Maybe one.
they'll win one of those. I've got them
I
at
think
6-6.
it probably the game that I think they would win would probably be at NC State just because of CJ Bailey being the quarterback. A young guy. I mean, even though
totally.
he played a ton of games last year.
And like I say, the crazy part is hard to predict November 21st games
Right,
when we don't
right.
like.
I'm just saying
they might have lost
now.
Yeah, Florida State might have lost to Stanford, and Norvell's fired, and they're not winning any more games. Or they. So I've got them like 6-6. I think they'll go 6-6. Like they're not beating the 4 really good teams on the schedule, and then I like Pitt a lot this year. And then, like I say, to me, Virginia Tech or NC State, one of those will get one of those wins there.
Possibly split, possibly 2 losses. Because, like I say, VTech.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You go 5-7.
Yeah, as long as Drones is healthy, and then playing at NC State, most people poo-poo playing at NC State. But for ACC teams, anytime they go on the road, it's just like the joke is the wheel of the ACC, the wheel of destiny. You have no idea. Then, like you say, at UF is going to be a tough game. And not looking at it right now, of course, I would pick probably UF on August 20th. I would pick UF. But as the season goes on, who knows? There could be injuries. There could be significant changes. I mean, it could be one of those like UF last year. They get on a little roll because the quarterback's balling out, like with DJ. DJ got his rhythm. I don't see it. And they're, like I say, they're not beating Clemson. That's like the for sure lock loss. Clemson and Bama. Miami should have like a 60 to 70% chance to win that game just because it's a rival game. It's a rival game at home. But worst case scenario, I say 4 wins.
Yeah, 4 wins would be bad. That'd be bad to me. That'd be bad. Is Norvell fired if they win 4 games?
That's it. Can they fire him because they just gave him that huge extension?
I don't disagree with that, but I mean,
people like Russ and those other guys.
Yeah, you're going to talk about 6 wins in 2 years.
Yeah, Russ and all those. What are they called? Golden
Chiefs, baby.
They have to pony up a lot of money to get him out of there.
Yeah,
and then who do you bring in next? Because
that's always the argument. Who do you?
Well,
somebody.
Well, not just that. You got to pay him to go away.
Yeah.
Are you still paying? I think they're done with Jimbo. Are they still paying Willie? Then you got to pay Mike, and then you got to pay the new coach coming in.
Yeah, no, trust.
On top of you just spend a ton of money on stadium renovations.
Put it this way. Guess what? That's a good problem to have, Florida State. I couldn't be happier for you guys if you get 4-8.
I mean, if you're a Florida State fan, it's like a double-edged sword, right? You want your team to win, but at the same time, if it causes this to be over and you move on, and hopefully you get someone up and coming or a veteran coach.
What's crazy is
you don't want Gus Malzahn to be the
heir apparent. No, for sure. And here's the thing. What's wild, like you say, is literally that's how fast this thing fell off the wagon. If this was to happen, like to where you were just undefeated, crying to be in the national championship picture in the Final Four, and now you're fired and your season and team is in shambles. Like, it's crazy how fast that turned. And like, not to say it is, but again, 6-6 is where I think they're at. Best case, we'll talk about that here in a second. But like, even 6-6, I'm still not like, I don't think he gets fired then, but I'm not happy.
No, you're not happy at all. I think the problem is they're not developing anyone.
And then
a lot of the guys coming in that are good have been developed at their last place.
Right.
They're just coming in for burn.
Yeah. It's like I say, they're not, again, who's going to be the quarterback next year? We're already talking about next year when like Castellano, you got to go get another quarterback.
You got to get another quarterback.
Every year you got to get a quarterback like that. Not
just that, the whole offensive line are seniors.
Well, that's
again, on the projected depth chart. They're all
like seniors. You said, none of these guys have played together. They're all new. It's just like, man, it could go really, really bad, or it could be just mediocre.
Done a terrible job at recruiting at the high school level. Everyone picks on Mario about the transfer portal, but they tend to gloss over the recruiting classes he's brought in. Even with your boy Billy, Billy was dead man walking last year and
Yeah.
somehow flipped it to get a top 12 recruiting class.
I mean, and the Gators have consistently been in the top 15, top 20
But
in
I'm just saying,
recruiting.
going off of all the
Yeah.
noise of
Yeah,
Mike being
right.
fired, I mean, with Billy being fired and then having
Mhm.
the season they had, kids were jumping off the ship. Like they righted it towards the end of the year. But
What FSU finished last
after a
year?
year like Florida State had when they
Yeah, they
win
finished
their
19th.
mythical
They finished 19th last year in recruiting. Like that.
Florida State
Florida State.
in the
Like 19th?
ACC.
No, total in the country.
I
Yeah.
know, I know, I know.
Yeah, no,
But
Miami
then you
was
still got to hit
14
on the
and
right
Florida was
guys.
7. No, for sure.
You got in even at the high school level, you got to bring in the right guys at the right positions, and then the transfer portal, you bring in a guy here and there. Like, oh, we need a center, but we got the other 4 guys, or we just need that X factor at wide receiver. We got everything else, and we bring that guy in. Or on the defensive side, we need that thumper at middle linebacker, that coach that wanted to get everybody lined up. But so okay, he doesn't get fired. You lose half your roster again, and then you got to go back into the portal again, or hope that you're going to get all these kids that are probably going to decommit halfway through the season. If you start off, what, just say 2-5, 2-6, they're going to hop up because that's just what these kids do. They're going to hop off the bandwagon and move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So,
No, for
like
sure.
I said, I think
sure.
best case scenario, somehow they finish 9-4. That's their best case scenario. To
You mean
me,
8 and 4? You mean 8 and 4?
8-4. Sorry, 8-4. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I think
then,
8 and 4 would definitely be good. They basically lose the 4 games to the big boys. They lose
Yeah.
to Bama, Miami, Clemson, and Florida, and they somehow win those other 8 games. I think that could be realistic and it could happen, but
mhm,
that means you're going to have to beat a good Pitt team. You're going to have to beat a good Virginia Tech team. You know,
yeah.
you're going to have to go on the road and win at Stanford in a weird game.
Just because
And
it's the West Coast game, that could throw you all off.
that's what I'm saying.
I think they're going to beat Stanford, but just
Right. That's what,
doing something you have never done
right.
outside of a bowl game or national championship game when they played at the Rose Bowl. You throw a game like that in the middle of the year where these kids aren't used to going to the West Coast like that. It could, I think, like I say, I think they're going to win. But like I say, best case scenario for me is 8-4.
Best case, yeah. I would say that would be their best case scenario too, because
And then worst case,
I don't see them beating those big 4 teams. I just
Yeah.
don't. And then so that means you're gonna, if you win the other 8, if you win the other games, then you go 8 and 4. But I don't see that happening just because I just don't see it being there.
yeah, their worst case, I see 4 wins.
Yeah, 4 wins would be
You're
bad.
gonna beat those 2 bad teams.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
You should beat Wake and Stanford.
That's what I'm saying.
That would be
that's
your
like
4 wins.
that's their Charleston Southern game. They get 2 Charleston Southern games this year with East
Yep.
Texas A&M and Kent State. You know, but yeah, Wake's not very good, and Stanford's not very good. So those are 2. Like looking at last
Mhm.
year's schedule again, they
It wasn't
got
that hard.
The Shocker lost to start the year against Georgia Tech. Then they lost to Tommy Castellanos and Boston College, which was I think that was like kind of like a shocker game. Like what the heck? Like
Yeah,
that's odd. And then
because I mean the Georgia Tech game was just it was a weird game. It was in Ireland.
week
It was
0,
one of those
yeah.
back and forth, just weird.
Yeah, then they lost to Memphis, where you're
Mhm.
like, oh boy. And then then they get the win at home against Cal, which was ugly, 14-9. I mean, they almost lost that game. Cal had a shot late to try to win it, and they didn't. Then they got their doors blown off when they went out to Dallas. Then they lost to Clemson. They hung around Duke for a little while, but they threw like I think multiple pick sixes in that game. Then the Canes waxed them. Then North Carolina ran all over them. Notre Dame stomped a mud hole in them, and then they got their second win against Charleston Southern, and then the Gators kind of smacked them. So it was just once the wheels fell off, you could tell by after that Miami game, the season was over. Like when they got shellacked in those games against Carolina,
Those boys were checked out. They were checked.
What Amari Hampton go for like 5,000 on them or something? I mean, like I say.
So let me ask you this: like, I guess not really a question, but they keep saying Mike's this guru at quarterback, but outside of Jordan Travis,
he didn't create Jordan Travis either. Jordan Travis was already good before that.
I mean, he came to Florida State kind of as a wide receiver, and he flipped him to quarterback. But take Jordan. Let's just take him out of this discussion. Every other quarterback you've pretty much recruited has almost transferred.
Yeah, Tate Rodemaker, Brock Glenn. Like, why aren't these guys good? Why weren't they?
And my thing was last year, why didn't you pull the plug on DJ earlier and give the young guys all the reps and just be like, man, this looks terrible with that guy. I mean, obviously the injury caught up with him and then those guys. And then it was just like, those guys were not getting better week to week. They look worse and worse and worse every week. And it's like, what are you guys doing in practice? Other than as soon as y'all walk in the door, you guys are all racing. That was the funniest part to me of last year. When you go back and watch the Florida State videos from their practices, it's him running from one end as soon as they get in their bubble to the other end, and all the guys are running with him. And as the weeks went on, it was just like less and less guys. And I think by the end of the year, there was like maybe 3-4 guys racing him to the other end. And it's just like, are they going to break the rock this year?
Right, dude. I'm looking at the stats from last year. Man, that's bad, dude. DJ barely threw for 1,000 yards. And then the split between Brock Glenn and Kromenhoek was 597 and 502. So they literally only threw for 2,000 yards. And they only rushed for 1,000 as well. So like their offense was.
Did you see what Akeem Williams said?
Yeah, I did.
About not being developed at Florida State.
Yeah, it feels like he's being better developed at.
He used the word developed
Colorado
multiple times.
Yeah, he did.
So it's going to be an interesting year for Mike. Like I said, I don't know the financials. I just know 2 years ago they gave him that extension. Can they afford to fire him? Like I said, I think they're done paying Jimbo. Are they done paying Willie? Stadium upgrades? Are those big money donors going to pony up and say, we got to get this guy out of here? Which more likely they will. They'll find the money if it's bad. If it's only 4 wins, they'll find the money. They'll get rid of him. But then who's going to be the next guy to come in?
Yeah, totally. But like I say, I threw the banner up because we're talking Knowles, but I'm already done talking about these guys. No, yeah. I guess, like I say, I don't know what else we need to say because again, there's not a lot of intel.
There's not.
I haven't done a deep dive trying to figure out stuff because again, nobody's got anything out there. So
I think
all we can do is wait and see. Next week when they play Bama, and then
how do you cover a 2-10 team?
Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing too. So
I mean, a lot of their fans don't even want to talk about them, but
exactly.
I mean, it's a new year. They're excited. Like I say, they did all those stadium upgrades. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of people going to Tallahassee thinking it's a new year, checking out the Doak.
Yeah. And no, I think the stadium upgrade should be pretty cool, and we'll see what they did and all that, and that's great. Everybody likes a new shiny stadium.
Well, let's move on. So, how can you talk about the scrimmage? Are you allowed to talk about it?
Yeah. I mean, I'll talk about. I mean, I'm not. Basically, I went to the Florida scrimmage. Like I say, even in it's been discussed on a lot of the Gator podcasts, all the news and notes that were in it. And what's funny was, Dave was asking me about it on Saturday afternoon, evening, or whatever. And I was hanging out with the guys and didn't get a chance to really talk to them until Sunday. But when he sent me the news and notes from the Florida Victorious, I'm like, yep, that's exactly how it went down. So everybody. So if you saw that, you knew the news and notes. So you're like, okay, yeah. I guess obviously precautionary reasons they've been holding DJ out of everything, but he apparently did his first 11-on-11 work Monday, so he's full go. He even said he was running around a little bit, but he didn't throw Saturday at all. So you're just like, I just wanted to see him throw a little bit, but they kept him out, and like I say, they were holding that injury to keep it off, stay off of it. And same thing goes for Dallas Wilson. They've had him casted up because Rat was like, dude's in a cast. I'm like, a cast? You're like, yeah. And then apparently word on the street is if he wasn't in that cast, he might be trying to run around on it because that's just what he's doing. So he hadn't been doing anything, so he's supposed to be out of that pretty soon. They held out Trey, so you're looking for one of these young receivers to step up, and obviously the defense is good. So like it's not that it was like underwhelming, but it's a scrimmage. It's the last one. Not really doing a whole hell of a lot, So you want to see big plays, but again, it's a scrimmage to where they're running 75% speed, probably not tackling the quarterbacks. You can't really get a good gauge because you're not going to get a good pass rush because you're not tackling the quarterback. But I will say some of the kid that I can't wait to watch, that he's been getting a lot of pub the entire fall camp, is Woods, Jaden Woods, number 15, the defensive end, the freshman. He did pop for sure. He was fast coming off the edge. He's a playmaker. So I want to see him in live games. But I do like I love Miles Graham. He looks good. Linebackers, that we talked about it tonight. Me and Dave did. That linebacker room looks good. We know what the running backs look good. Even the freshman KD Daniels had a nice run. So he's probably going to be that third guy that would have been Webb, so that sucks for Webb. Obviously, the offensive line's good. So, like I say, they look good right now. They're going to beat the hell out of LIU. That they're going to beat the shit out of Long Island. That game's going to be terrible. And then they get a good check with USF because USF's not a slouch. They've been playing. They played you guys tough for about a half. They played Bama tough for about a half. So USF's going to want to come in and prove it like that. They want to hang with the big dogs. So at least we got those two games before we go to Baton Rouge and go down to Miami. So I like the way that sets up. But again, it's all going to come down to, like we said, everybody. If Carson Beck goes down, if Lenore Sellers goes down, those teams we're all screwed. So you can't play scared. You just got to let it hang out and go. But yeah, for the most part, it was fun being down there and watching those guys run around. So, but it's nothing like no earth shattering news or anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. Like I say, again, until you can get into any of these camps, to really watch, behind closed doors, you're only getting a little bit of peaks here and there, when the video teams the video teams are going to put together the best compilations of highlights.
Even with the media, they're controlled, because I know come out of Miami, Mario controls what narrative comes out of a lot of the, everyday practice. Yeah, you could talk about this. Yeah, you can't talk about that. Because like the other day, I just realized they were saying that JoJo Trader hadn't really practiced a ton this camp, but he's going to be ready. He's going to play.
A little injury.
Yeah, little injury. So they say. So, but we'll see. I mean,
but
once again,
Nussmeier's been banged up.
Yeah, we could say that the media guys could say whatever until week one. Like you say, Nussmeier, little injury. 1 minute, Nussmeier has a torn ACL and he's out for the year. And then they come out like, whoa, he's hurt, but he's gonna play. So that's just this time of the year, man. Talking season. Until the pads go on for real, they could say and spin whatever narrative they want. Like I say, Jam Miller getting hurt. They say 4 weeks. He probably should be back the 5th week because he's going to miss like the first 4 games or whatever. They got a bye week somewhere in there. Who's to say he probably won't play week 3? Like, you really don't know. I mean, remember last year, Montrell. He wasn't playing week 1, and then he walked out on the field and played and had, it was a bad day, but he had that one big run where you're like, how's the knee?
Yeah, for sure.
For the most part.
For sure. Like I say, that's ultimately, again, these guys are coming into that NFL mode where they're using high precaution for their guys.
You have to
don't want to risk any injury. You want them to be. You want to have your team at 100% to start the year. So I mean, you're just going to hold guys out. It is what it is. You want put it this way. I want 2 throwing the ball over the other guys. So if he doesn't have to practice, all the fall camp, and he just throws a little bit of 7-on-7 and some, individual air routes, then hey, that's how. Let me see him lace it up, week 3 in Baton Rouge.
Exactly. I'm sure up at Vanderbilt, they're saying the same thing. We want Diego Pavia out there and not the backup.
Right.
And we still don't expect Vanderbilt to have a ton of wins, but that's just how it goes. You want your guy under center week 1.
Definitely.
So if he twisted an ankle or whatever, you're going to hold him up. Hyperbaric chamber, you get him in that chamber, you tight rope or whatever you got to do to get him ready.
All right, well, let's flip it here since we got a little bit of time. We'll take these last 20 to 30 minutes and I guess let's just randomly do a college football predictions. Who thinks going to win each conference? Who's going to make it to the conference
Man,
championship
you
game?
throwing me on the spot tonight.
Throwing you on the spot, dog. I haven't done any research on this. I mean, we're going to go chalk. I already know that. I mean, it is what it is.
You never know.
You never know. I mean, here's what we'll do. We'll go. We'll throw a sleeper team in there too. We'll throw who you think's going to win the league. We're only going to do the Power Four. I know Sam was talking about we don't need to do the.
No, we'll talk about it next week. But right now, like you said, we're just throwing it out there.
Yeah, it's just because. I mean, for next week, we're going to dive into games next week, so I don't want to be prediction who's going to win the American League next. I mean,
no. But we still got to talk about playoff and all of that. But yeah,
I don't even know if we got time to do all that in one episode. But basically, who you got to win the ACC, dog? Your winner of the ACC chip. Who's going to be in the game? And I guess give me, like I say, your surprise sleeper team.
I think it's going to be Clemson, Miami in the championship game. I think
it's chalky. Yeah, I know. I agree.
Hey, listen,
I agree.
It's almost now or never for Cade Klubnik, and talk about talent. Those guys have a ton of talent.
They're loaded. I looked at Field Yates mock draft, and they got like 5 guys in that thing.
Yeah, especially in the defensive line. And you got a Terrell, the 9th Terrell to ever go to Clemson at DB. But I like Cade Klubnik. He hasn't really done much in the last couple of years to wow people. He's had games here and there, but he hadn't put it all together for the season. So I like them in Miami. Sleeper team. I guess they're not really a sleeper team. I guess you got to watch out for Louisville.
I like Louisville. I like that.
I'm also Moss at quarterback. You upgrade at quarterback.
I'm with you. I like Clemson and the Canes. I still like SMU. I mean, they're not really a sleeper team because they're ranked now. They're kind of on the scene. I mean, they replaced a lot too, but I like SMU. I guess if I was going to go sleeper team, I got one for you. The boys from the ATL, man, Georgia Tech. I think Georgia
they're just unconventional. They give people fits. Yeah. Haynes King is going to lead that team. They lost probably their best weapon on offense, and Eric Singleton to Auburn. But we'll see. I like I said, I love their coordinators. Their coordinators.
Like that week 1 game's gonna be good. I want to I think they beat Colorado week 1.
That wouldn't surprise me. I could see, yeah.
But like
Colorado's
I said, they get Clemson super early. Yeah, they get Clemson super early. Week 3, so you want to beat Colorado week 1. You obviously want to beat Gardner-Webb, be 2-0 going into that Clemson game. You probably lose that one. But then you kind of got games that kind of set you up. The other team who could surprise that we've talked about being a sleeper team kind of last year that I want to see. No, Syracuse. What does Fran Brown do? Does he have
they named Angeloni the starter?
Yeah, the kid from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Like I say, again, they're one of those teams that they played good down the stretch. Let's see their big games. They got obviously right out the gate. They got the Vols week 1, baby. So that's going to be a big gut check. Then they got a couple easy games before they play Clemson early. So they also got their schedule kind of is tough. They got Clemson, they got Tennessee, Clemson, SMU, the Canes, and Notre Dame. Yikes! Never mind. They're not my sleeper team anymore. Like that's to have to play your 2 out of league games or Tennessee and Notre Dame.
Yeah, it's tough. That's tough.
But yeah, like I say, the other team we've talked about them too is Pitt. I want to see what Cade and the boys are going to do.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're running a dynasty with the Pitt Panthers right now, so you know what they got and what they don't got. Des Reed, Eli Holstein, but I like. I'm chalky, definitely. I like the Canes and I like Clemson. Who you got winning, dog? You got your Canes taking it all the way this year. Finally,
I got them going into the playoff.
Let's go.
They're getting in. If they make it to the ACC championship,
all right, okay. They're making it. They're making it
to
Charlotte. All right, who you got? Big 12. Big 12. Do you get a repeat of them Sun Devils?
I do really like the Sun Devils.
I do too. I do too.
I mean, with Sam Levitt and Tyson coming back, they got a lot of skill. I mean, you lose Scatterboo, but I think they got some guys in the backfield that could turn it around. And the other team, everyone loves Texas Tech just because of the money they've spent.
Yeah, I just don't think they put it. I don't think they put it together yet.
Yeah, I mean, I picked this team last year and they disappointed me in Kansas. I still like Daniels, man, at quarterback.
All
I
right.
think they put it together a little too late in the season, but I like Arizona State coming out, and I will have them playing. Can't sleep on Iowa State either. You know, they're just
Yeah.
going to be scrappy and just. I go Arizona State, Kansas State.
Yeah, I like that. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're going to find out this Saturday. You got the ranked
Yeah,
game
right away.
between a conference game with Iowa State and K State,
Yep.
which is
So
big out
weird
the gate. It is kind of
in
weird, but
Ireland.
in Dublin, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm definitely going. I'm going ASU just because I feel like they got good quarterback play. I like what the coach is doing out there. You know, it's kind of fun. He's got it. The guy's buying in. It's like Arizona State just got a little vibe. They got a vibe going.
I think it goes back to the very first podcast when we were talking about the Gators is the QB play this season. There's going to be a lot of new guys.
There's some good quarterbacks. So when
there's
you
some
look
good
at
quarterbacks, but a lot of the top teams have like brand new starters breaking in, and so those veteran guys better step up. Like Sam Levitt,
Levitt's and Cade Klubnik, you know, Drew Aller,
the guy we're going to probably talk about next. You just named him. You just named him. I don't want to hear no excuses.
No, for sure. They have none.
Let's go ahead and go to that conference.
Well, let me go. I'm going to. Who's your sleeper team in the Big 12? You got any sleeper?
Big 12, my bad.
Yeah, I mean, Kansas. I'll go Kansas. Go with Kansas. That's
I'll ride with Kansas.
I'm going to go Arizona State is going to play. Is Utah going to come back? Whittingham got anything left in the tank?
Man, that's my guy. I hope so.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Iowa State just because I'll go chalk on this one. I'll go Iowa State, Arizona State. I'll go Arizona State winning it. And my surprise team in the league. What sucks? It would have been BYU last year, but obviously the new quarterback.
Due to a situation.
Yeah. I'll go for a surprise. I'll say Utah gets back and is one of the top teams.
I mean, that's not a bad one.
It's not a big, and it's not.
You know, they're going to come back. Yeah, they're going to come back and they're going to play hard. Their defense is going to be tough nose. Offensively, I don't know what the situation is at quarterback. I haven't really looked into it, but we know they're going to have good tight ends, and their offensive line is going to be good, and their defense is going to be good.
Yeah, their quarterback's back. It's one of those guys who was there last year. I forget the kid's name. Let me look it up. They got little Zach. They got little Zach Wilson.
Oh, Isaiah Wilson.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought he transferred.
Little Zachy boy. Well, maybe he did, but I mean that was their guy last year, so I could be dead wrong. All right, moving on to the big boy league of the Big BIG 10. Who you got, dog? Who you got? I know you're not going to pick them. You want me to go first?
I'm just going to talk about the league. Period. I am not. Everyone's jumping on this Illinois bandwagon all of a sudden.
That's Joseph's team.
I just don't see it.
No.
I don't see it. Indiana, you had your fun last year. Michigan.
Yeah. I like Bryce Underwood.
He's not the starter. Apparently, he's not. They didn't name him the starter.
No, he's a starter. Dude.
I probably read something wrong.
You're thinking of Notre Dame.
Bryce. I thought about Bryce.
And Bryce
it was a false report. But I mean, right now, even Ohio State.
It's three teams. It's three teams to choose from here.
It's three teams. So right now, I'm gonna pick the team you think I'm not gonna pick to be in the Big Ten championship game in Penn State.
I mean, they were in it. They were in it last year.
True,
it's
true.
You're not gonna pick them right now. You're not gonna pick them to win though.
I'm gonna pick Penn State and Oregon.
So repeat from last year.
Repeat from last year. My sleeper team will be. I'll go USC.
Okay.
I think they're going to bounce back a little bit. I don't think they're going to win the league or anything. But
Lincoln Riley went from like the hottest coach that everybody wanted to like, who the hell is this guy going to have a job?
But if he signs this class that they have committed right now,
I definitely will agree with that. They are.
But that's still 2 years away.
Yeah.
But if he could get that class to sign, they are not firing him.
No, for sure.
They're not firing him. So that's the sleeper team. So in the Big Ten, I got Penn State, Oregon. Shocker to you. I'm going to pick Penn State to win the Big Ten. Now, with that being said, they got wide receivers. They got better wide receivers, and you can't go a game like how they had a game in the playoff where 0 wide receivers get catches. I think that was the Notre Dame game.
Yeah.
So You got a veteran quarterback who everyone loves. I'm still not a fan. You got two good two good running backs coming back. Your offensive line is pretty good. Your defense is going to be decent. You get Jim Knowles. You steal Ohio State's defensive coordinator and Jim Knowles, and you bring him over. You pay him more money. So Penn State has to be the favorite in the conference. Now, with the other two teams, with Oregon and Ohio State, the problem is you're breaking in two new quarterbacks, and Ohio State probably lost majority of their defense. Yeah. They lost a ton of. You lose two running backs, your quarterback, a couple offensive linemen, and I would say 75% of your defense. You get Caleb Downs back, which is great.
Yeah,
your skill guys, at least the wide receivers, probably the best in the nation. But what do we know about Julian Sayin?
That's what I'm saying. That's a lot of stock to be the number 3 team in the country already, and you lose that much. I like what they got back. Now we know how great Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate and Brandon Ennis are. But again, like Julian Sayin's got to get those guys the ball. You know, not saying he was a highly touted guy. Was at Bama. 5-star. You know, he's basically, you know, it's his turn to take over the team. But again, you lost a lot on defense. And right out the chute, you want to talk about a banger that we're going to talk about next week. You got to play Texas right out of the gate, you know. And then now I will say, to me, their schedule is light. I don't know if you looked at it.
Yeah, no, it's light. Oh, I looked at it. Like them in Penn State, they're both all Big Ten schedules are light.
I mean, well, it's not unless you play the team. Like I'll find one for you that's not. But I mean, they basically. They're the only ranked teams they're playing in the Big Ten this year are Illinois, who we just bagged on, said they ain't about nothing. And then they play Penn State every year and Michigan. That's it. So they got a 3-game schedule in a sense, almost, you know. And that's
because even if you lose the Texas game and you win the conference, you're in the playoff.
Totally. Even if you lose 2, you're in the play. 10-2 gets you in nowadays. You know?
And then Oregon, I like Oregon. You bring in Mekhi Hughes at running back from Tulane. You bring in Bear Alexander, whatever. Maybe one day he'll do something. He's still got a lot of skill guys.
Even Oregon's schedule sucks. Yeah, Oregon's schedule's worse. It's worse than Ohio State's. Who's got a hard? Somebody has to have a hard schedule in the damn Big Ten.
Probably Iowa. All right. Or Purdue. My bad. Purdue probably has the hardest.
The worst team probably has like the hardest. Yeah. Or it might be like Indiana might have a tough schedule this year. Who knows? But I don't know if they did. I don't think they did like the SEC, basically reverse order. But no, it's not even that tough either.
That's the thing. But like you say, the top 3 teams in that conference.
What I look at is who's playing ranked opponents. Because right now, technically in the top 25, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 teams in the top 25.
So I'm looking at the Oregon schedule.
The big 3, the 2. Penn State at 2, Ohio State at 3, and Oregon at 7. They only play one of each other. None of them have to play both, you know. And then some of them. So I guess Ohio State's technically would be tough because they got to play Oregon and Michigan, you know, and Texas.
No, Oregon. This is Oregon's schedule.
Yeah, Oregon's is easy. I just looked at Oregon's.
Montana State, Oklahoma State, Northwestern, Oregon State, Penn State, Indiana back to back. That's their season. Then they finish with Rutgers, Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, USC, and Washington.
That's terrible.
Like, give me a break. And these Big Ten coaches got the nerve to talk about the SEC schedule.
Yeah.
Your boy, Cignetti. I'm starting to lose a little respect for that guy, but whatever. And then we go to Ohio State schedule. Week 1 banger.
Yeah, they got theirs is the toughest because they got to play Penn State and Michigan. So at least they got 3 ranked teams.
Yeah, exactly.
But so again, I'm going to go.
You got to go Penn State.
No, I'm going Penn State to win. I think Penn State's going to win the Big Ten, and I think they're going to go to the playoff. Who are they going to play? Yeah, it'd probably be Oregon or Ohio State for sure. One of those two, and then. But I think Penn State wins the league this year. My sleeper team or surprise team. How good is Nebraska going to be? Can Raiola bounce up even more? Matt Rule get those boys playing? Or, you know, I like your USC pick for sure. I like them because I like Lincoln still. Can Iowa score?
You return a quarterback with a ton of experience in Mavia. Yeah, Miller Moss moves on. You lose a Deuce Robinson, but I think they still have a lot of skill out there. I think the D coordinator, the new D, I think it was Lynn that came over last year from UCLA to USC. He turned that defense around. It was more respectable. Yeah, the Penn State game got a little out of hand in the Notre Dame game, but I think he turned it around. And let's see from year 1 to year 2 with the defensive coordinator, and they're going to pitch the ball around the yard and they're going to try to put up as many points as they can. That's why I picked USC because, like I said, I do like Mavia at quarterback.
Yeah, I do too. All right, well, let's go to the big boy league, the SEC. It just means more. They got the best teams in the country, in the world.
Allegedly.
Who you got? Who you got to take the crown?
Oof.
I mean, like I say, looking at this, like I say, there's freaking half the damn league is ranked.
Yeah. Everyone is in love with Texas. I love their talent. I just don't know at quarterback. Everyone keeps telling me he's a top 5 guy in college football, not like draft right now, even though they're saying he's the number 1 pick.
Mm-hmm.
I got to see it. I got to see it for my own 2 eyes.
At least he's put something on tape to where some of these guys haven't played it down yet. I mean, no, it's not a lot. It's not a lot.
I also saw him with big eyes on the sideline, him and Quinn when they played Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And then Alabama, I don't know if I could pick Alabama at the moment. Just say with Ty Simpson at quarterback, like I say, it's going to be different. You're not going to be explosive running the ball at the quarterback position, but you still got to like those wide receivers with Ryan Williams, and then you get a Isaiah Horton from Miami, a big body wide receiver. So wide receiver wise, you're good. I think their offensive line with Proctor at left tackle, they're going to be dominant up front, and their defense is going to be flying around. So obviously it goes on the quarterback. Georgia, same thing. Man, it's tough. This one's tough because I really like LSU. I really like LSU this year. I just don't know about the offensive line, but I've
just rumored wise, I've heard it's terrible.
Yeah. If their offensive line's bad, then they're not going to win too many games.
I've heard they're having trouble run blocking and pass blocking. So
they had problems. They had problems run blocking last year, but their two tackles are really good.
That's just a rumor I've heard from source intel. They're struggling big time, and it's like
their 2 tackles went. One went first round, the second one went second, third.
Exactly. And that Clemson D line is ready to go next week.
So I can't go Carolina. That 4-game stretch, I sent you that tweet the other day. That 4-game stretch is tough.
Just kind of like the Gators too.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess I got to go. I just bagged on Texas, but I think Texas is probably going to be one, and then in the SEC championship game, it's hard to go against Kirby, man. Even though they got Connor Stockton at quarterback, and they got some tough games as well. But I'm going to go Texas Ole Miss.
Okay. See, what's funny is when you say Ole Miss could sneak in there because of their schedule.
That's why I picked Ole Miss.
That's what I'm saying. And Ole Miss is one of those teams where they have a little 3-game stretch, which we consider tough. They got at Georgia, at Oklahoma, and versus South Carolina. Those are all.
You got to finish the season. You can't.
Yeah.
The problem is LSU,
like a team like Oklahoma, for example, right? A lot of people are feeling good about Oklahoma right now. They're like, they like Mateer at quarterback. They like that defense.
Mateer.
They like the D line. Venables is going to have a defense, so it's like, is Oklahoma going to be good, or all of a sudden if they lose, then they just suck? You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, but you gotta like Mateer and J. Dot at running back coming from Cal over.
No, they're talking about that is probably maybe the one that if you're talking about a backfield of sheer talent, if you go that route. I mean, obviously DJ and Ball would be a hell of a connection. Healthy connection.
And my sleeper. My sleeper, who I don't think's a sleeper team.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to pick somebody like. I like A&M too, and I wouldn't consider them a sleeper as well.
Yeah, but that offensive line with Le'Veon Moss, and Marcel Reed, as long as they could keep Marcel Reed upright, because he's a stick figure, he can't take too many hits. If he could go from year 1 to year 2 and expound on that. With that defense, Mike Elko is going to have a tough defense. I guess that would be my sleeper. So, like I said, I would love to pick Carolina because I think Carolina is going to be a team. Carolina. I think Carolina, LSU, and A&M are the three
And the
teams I'm
Gators.
curious to see
And
this
the
season.
Gators.
Those are the three teams I'm curious to see. But I think their schedules are pretty tough. And can they make it week in and week out?
Yeah, see, Carolina's is not a 4-game stretch. It's a 5-game stretch, buddy.
Oh, is it? Okay.
At LSU,
Mm-hmm.
home against Oklahoma, home against Bama, at Ole Miss, at Texas A&M.
That's tough, man.
And then they get Coastal and then Clemson.
Yeah, no, that's tough. That's
Woo.
People will say, "Oh, why can't they?" We're talking about college kids, and can you stay focused? That stretch should keep you focused for 6 straight weeks.
Yeah, the
But
first
can
half,
they stay focused?
yeah, the
for
first
6
half. I
straight
mean,
weeks?
you still get VTech out the gate, like
Yeah.
VTech.
Exactly.
They'll
That's why
beat South Carolina
that's why
State.
you gotta like
Vandy.
Ole Miss.
Yeah. No, I agree. My team. I'm going to pick Texas. I'm going to pick Texas.
A&M,
I got
A&M
Texas.
schedule.
Yeah, A&M's. They're no slouch either.
They got UTSA, Utah State. Then they got to go to South Bend. Then they play Auburn, Mississippi State, Florida, Arkansas, LSU, Missouri, South Carolina, Samford, and then Texas, which is it's a more manageable schedule than LSU and South Carolina.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
who do you have?
I'm gonna go Texas, and I'm gonna go Bama.
Yeah.
I think the Alabama defense is gonna be good.
They're gonna be really good.
We're banking on Ty Simpson being good, and I think he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be good. I don't think he's gonna be like. I mean, who knows? He could be all world, but I think he's gonna be good.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the Jam Miller being hurt, sure, but I love Richard Young. I think he might be better. He's just younger. Jam Miller gets the seniority tip. Obviously, we love Ryan Williams. We love Horton. They got weapons. So, yeah, it's going to come down to can Ty Simpson, get the ball downfield for sure. Like their schedule, obviously they got the Georgia game, which is going to be that basically Georgia would be the other team I'd pick probably just because they've been the cream of the crop. So the winner of that game will probably obviously have a leg up. But then I think Bama's schedule is manageable. They get Vandy, Missouri, Tennessee. Now here's where they got their tough stretch. They got South Carolina, LSU, and Oklahoma back to back. Before they end it with Auburn. But I'll go Texas, Bama, and I'm gonna go sleeper team. These guys, baby. Let's go. Gotta rep the boys.
All right, give us another team outside of your Gators.
I'm with Texas A&M. Texas A&M is would be a sleeper team that I like. I like A&M a lot. I like Marcel Reed. I like Moss. Elko, like I say, he's
a hell of a coach, man.
If it wouldn't be them, like I say, I think South Carolina does have potential to make up to be a really good team, but I think they're going to lose 4 games.
You got to love the talent they have with Lenore's. Now Nick Harbor has to step up. We can't keep living off of you run a 9.9 100-meter dash and you're 6'5", 6'6", playing wide receiver and you're 220. Now you got to catch passes.
Yeah, if I'd go sleeper, actually, I'll go Oklahoma. Oklahoma, since you picked
like you say. I mean, you bring in Moneyline Mateer and Ott, and you still got a lot of the guys. They didn't lose a ton in the transfer portal, so you got to like their chances. And I don't know.
They got one of the best. They got one of the best D linemen in the country. Like their D line is
Stone.
Just total. The total.
Oh yeah. Well, that's that man's forte. That's Stoops' forte.
Here's their schedule. They got Illinois State week 1 blowout. Now the interesting game the following week is
Vanderbilt. My bad.
Yeah, they play Michigan at home.
That's gonna be an interesting game.
That'll be an interesting game because you would pick Oklahoma because they're at home and that's gonna be Underwood's road test at OU. Then they get Temple, and then here's another surprise team that I want to see how they do. Auburn. Like, what does Auburn do? I
didn't even think about them. I mean, they got some guys. You got Cam Coleman and you got Eric Singleton, and then you bring in who's the quarterback?
It comes up Jackson.
Yeah,
Arnold.
Yeah,
I don't know. They got good makeup too. So it's like you can't just like,
hey man, all the things I've been seeing coming out. I don't know if your boy's gonna make it to the end of the year.
Jackson Arnold?
No. Heck,
Hugh Freeze. Yeah,
Freeze, man.
I mean, they're retiring Cam's number. They're retiring number 2. Nobody can wear it.
Hugh Freeze is rubbing it like a lot of people the wrong way.
Now, see, here's their back half. OU plays Kent State after the Auburn game.
Mm-hmm.
They get Texas in the Red River, and then they go to South Carolina, home against Ole Miss, at Tennessee, at Bama. Ooh,
So
Missouri, LSU.
what you're hoping, if you're Brent Venables, you bringing in a quarterback with a lot of experience, that he's not going to turn the ball over late in the games like they did last year, where I think the Bama game, did they beat Bama?
Yeah, they smoked Bama.
Yeah, they smoked Bama. I can't think of the
out.
game where the quarterback threw the pick six to end the game. It was like a walk-off. I can't remember who it was. And you just can't lose games like that when you're winning and dictating the game, and then your quarterback throws a bad pass that gets picked off, and you lose the game. Like that can't happen.
They lost the game early. They lost that early game to Nico in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Texas smoked them in Red River.
Yeah.
South Carolina smoked them. They lost 26-14 to Ole Miss. The game you might be talking about, they lost 30-23 against Missouri, because then they smoked Bama, and then they lost to LSU.
Yeah, I can't remember which game it was, but
they went 6-6.
Yeah, like I say, if you're laying right now and you're looking at your schedule comparative to your peers in the conference and at their schedules, I know I've been saying this the last 3 years that we've been doing this podcast, and I keep picking Ole Miss and Lane to get to the playoffs. Yeah. You got the talent, you got the schedule. Can you guys finish? Can they finish? Lane has taken that team to a place they've never been. Remember the argument, me, you, and Joe, and Joe's like, oh, they've had a 10-win team before Lane, and they never have, just because there's more games now. But at some point, the fans at Ole Miss are going to get tired of the 10-win games, and then it comes down to who are the 10 wins against. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we're 10-2, but you lost to Florida, which you shouldn't have lost last year, and you lost to Kentucky. You win one of those two games, you're in the playoff. Who cares about the SEC championship game? Those were two terrible losses. Like, you got your boy Jackson Dart just heaving them up at the end of the Florida game, and it's like, dude, calm down. We're still in it. We still can win this game.
What's wild is looking at it again. 20-17 lost to Kentucky. The overtime lost when they were up the entire game against LSU.
Yep.
And then they lost by 7 to the Gators.
Yeah.
Like they literally lost losses. I know they lost by a combined 13 points. Crazy.
And well, can we add another name to the possible? Do we want to keep this guy? It's Brian Kelly.
Yeah.
Well, here's on
the flip side. Go ahead.
You saw what he said during SEC Media Day, like, oh, we're taking this week 1 game serious. So what the hell you been doing since you've been there?
I hope you're going to take that serious.
Like,
you didn't care about beating Florida State 2 years in a row? Yeah, so going back to that Ole Miss thing here, they lost those 3 games. Here's the other thing. You just said it a minute ago, like, who are their 10 wins against? Like, they beat Georgia, and that's it. They beat South Carolina, which is a nice win, but that's it. They literally beat Furman, Middle Tennessee, Wake Forest, Georgia Southern, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Mississippi State. Like, those are shitty wins.
And I could give him they lost to Florida at the Swamp.
Right.
You can't lose to Kentucky at home.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's
and the game was ugly. It was like their offense was non-existent.
It was super ugly. I remember watching that game.
Yeah. You just can't. You can't. So looking at the conference is going to be tough.
Yeah.
And I had it pulled up, talking about the whole Kirk Cignetti situation with him. That guy, because I forgot who it was they dropped. Was it Virginia? I think they dropped Virginia from their home and home. And he's talking about how they're going to have a SEC type schedule. But then if you go and look at the SEC games, like non-conference games, so notable SEC non-conference games this season. You got
Florida,
Texas,
Miami. Texas, Ohio State.
Yeah. You got Florida, Miami. You got Texas, Ohio State. You got LSU, Clemson, Bama, FSU, South Carolina, Virginia Tech, Mizzou, Kansas, OU, Michigan, Carolina, Clemson, A&M, Notre Dame. So what is that guy talking about?
Yeah, those are big boy games.
That's what, on top of your conference games. Like, yes. Clearly, we don't want to see Alabama and Furman before Alabama Auburn.
Right.
We don't want to see Florida Troy before Florida Georgia. I get it. I think it's more of people see when they're playing their big games and then the week before, but they take out the whole non-conference games because they're week 1 or week 2. And it's like, so who do you guys play? Who does Indiana play? Like when I think of the Big Ten, you got the Michigan OU game, and you got Texas Ohio State. Who does Penn State play out of conference?
Nobody.
Who does Oregon play out of conference?
Nobody. At least Ohio State and Michigan play somebody.
That's what I'm saying. The rest of your conference really doesn't. Can you pull up the Illinois schedule? Who does Illinois play non-conference?
The Fighting Joes play. They open the season versus Western Illinois. Their out-of-conference game is against the ACC Dookie Blue Devils, Western Michigan, and that's it because they play a 9-game. They play 9 games in the Big Ten.
So here's Indiana's schedule. Are you? My bad. Are you done reading that?
Yeah,
one?
that's it. Yeah.
So here's Indiana's schedule. Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State are their first 3 games. Then they play Illinois, Iowa, Oregon, Michigan State, UCLA, Maryland, Penn State, Wisconsin, and Purdue. What is this guy talking about? And he's making me sound like I'm an SEC homer, and I'm by far from that.
You are.
I am not. The hell with that. But I know when I'm looking at schedules and you're sitting here saying this crap, and I'm just looking at you like, my guy, what are you talking about?
Yeah, no, for sure. They're going to get smoked by Oregon and Penn State this year, and maybe Illinois. Maybe the Fighting Joes take them down.
Heck, they got to go to Iowa. Who's to say? Yeah. Are they going to beat Iowa?
Yeah, I'd like to see how good Iowa's going to be for sure.
Yeah. UCLA. I'm curious about UCLA with Nico.
Yeah, they're another team that it's, you kind of question where they're at for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, dog. I think we wrapped enough. I think we did a good job on the who we think. Like say it's chalk. There's going to be some surprise teams for sure.
Oh man, you're not even going to bring up that we talked about Florida State, are you?
I mean, I'm not done. I mean, we talked about the Noles. We gave the Noles some love. We're going to break down the Noles Bama game next weekend.
Man, you take a dig anytime you can.
You're the one who said, I didn't talk about them. No, like I say, our games, my game, we're not going to break down. We're going to break down Notre Dame, Miami, we'll break down Bama, FSU, and then the other big ones. But
should we talk about any of the games this weekend?
Sure. I mean, we can. I mean,
it's basically only one, really.
Basically the K-State Iowa State game, and ultimately, that's a good matchup. I honestly I can't. It's a
really good matchup to start the season.
So like it's a good conference game. I mean, it kind of sucks for both of them that somebody's going to lose that game.
Yeah.
So
I mean, just going off of everything, I like K-State.
I like Avery Johnson too.
I like your boy Avery Johnson. I think spreads 3. K-State's favored by 3. The total's 51. I don't know about that. Right now I probably would lean with the under because just who knows how that grass is going to be at that stadium in Dublin. It seems like every year they have issues and it's going to rain.
Your sleeper team plays Saturday. The Kansas Rock Jayhawks, baby. Fresno State.
Play Fresno State. And then the other one, your boy.
The late game?
No, Danny Mullen.
Yeah, they play Idaho State. I mean, if they were playing somebody
I'm
good.
just curious about the last chance you guys going out there.
Right.
Tongue in cheek because he has a lot of former 4 and 5 stars out there.
I'll be interested to see what Mullen does this year at UNLV for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But the other game, Sam Houston State, Western Kentucky, nothing. Then you got Pac-12 after dark at 7:30, Stanford at Hawaii.
Yeah,
on Paramount Plus.
Hey, buddy, football's back, man.
Get your streaming session up.
Yeah, football's back.
Yeah, see, I wish the Dublin game wasn't at noon. I wish that was like a 3:30 game or something. I don't know.
Well, then it would be 9 p.m. over there.
I know, but they could play that game at 9 p.m.
People would be too. Come on.
Yeah, it's
Ireland. You imagine how much Guinness is going to be
keyed up,
consumed before noon. Well, before 6 o'clock over there.
Yeah.
Be a lot of Guinness consumed.
And we fired up for Avery Johnson.
Yeah. Yeah.
K-State. Yeah. I mean, that's it for this game. And then look at the early games next Thursday. Is there anything Thursday night? No, Boise, South Florida.
I mean, that's a watchable game.
Yeah, no, that's I definitely tune in Thursday night. So I'm just looking at I know
East Carolina, NC State.
Yeah, I know the Baylor Auburn game's Friday night. Obviously y'all's game is a standalone game on Sunday. There's two standalone games. That Virginia Tech South Carolina game is also the Sunday game.
Yeah, well, Nebraska plays Cincinnati Thursday night.
True. Yeah, college football's back, baby.
Yeah. Hey, there's going to be a game on every Saturday until February, I think, or something. Yeah, definitely. For a while.
For a long time.
Yeah, Colorado, Georgia Tech's next Friday as well.
Yeah, they got a couple. Yeah, they got a couple of the Friday night games. Not every game is on Saturday.
Yeah, spread it out a little bit.
Yeah, give you a little bit of each night for sure. Yeah, I'm going to go to the Trinity game this Friday.
Who they got?
They got the Ed White Commanders.
Oh, nice.
That's a pretty good game.
So what's the blowback about the Central Reigns game getting canceled?
Both sides screwed up. It's really nobody's fault. They apparently I guess the game was supposed to be on Saturday, and then they wanted to move it to Friday, and then Central said they're not traveling on Friday. Then they were going to try to move it to a different time on Saturday, and they basically said no, it's too hot or something. It was a bunch of BS.
Gotcha.
Again, it's they could have come, but they didn't want to on that day. They wanted to come on Saturday night, I guess, and I guess they didn't do this is on. I don't know if you pin it on Duval County. They didn't security, all that stuff. You got to have enough security for that game.
Yeah.
And so that's why they wanted to move it.
Was it at the Graveyard or was it?
Yeah. It was going to be at Reigns.
Oh, okay.
So then they were talking about moving it to Saturday, but it's too hot to play fucking at 1 o'clock on 12 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. Yeah. So gotcha. They were trying to get it moved to like Friday night, but I guess the travel arrangements or whatever. So Miami Central said, "Nah, we ain't coming." So yeah, it sucks, but in all honesty, I don't think Reigns wanted that smoke anyways. So it worked itself out. Like I said, I think Reigns is gonna be really good. They might go undefeated again. They got a tough game. Like week 4, they play Lake Mary. Lake Mary's got a 5-star Power 5 quarterback. They might lose that one, but they'll beat the hell out of Jacksonville teams. But now the question is, can they beat Central or Northwestern in the state championship?
Yeah, got you.
No.
All right, man. Maybe we'll bring up some Heisman talk next week as well. At least 2 minutes of it.
Yeah, I mean, Heisman has just turned into not a fun award anymore, man.
No, it's just turned into the QB and the best team award.
That's what I'm saying. It's Arch. We're going to name Arch, Cade, DJ, Lenore Sellers, Nuss. Is there a non-quarterback? I guess that's what we need to bring up. Who's the best non-quarterback? Jeremiah Smith?
Right. That'll be our thing we do next week.
The best non-quarterback, Heisman hopeful.
Yep.
True that.
Let's do that.
All right, my peoples. Appreciate everyone for tuning in.
Like, subscribe, share.
We got three down the pipe. We did the Gators, Canes, and Knowles. Talked a little conference championship preview. Who we think is going to be the winners. So those are our playoff teams. There'll be a couple other playoff teams, obviously, as well. We'll advance into that more as obviously the season goes. We don't need to dive into all the hypotheticals. No hypothetical today, buddy. Can you believe that?
I'm disappointed in you.
That's a first.
I was ready. I was ready for
hypothetically. If the Knowles beat Bama,
they're in the playoffs.
They're in the playoffs, baby. Hypothetically, no. I'll come up with one for next week, along with some Heisman talk. But appreciate everyone for tuning in. And until next week, baby, it's on go. It's for real time.
Hush, y'all.
It's time to ball.
Yep.
All right, man. Appreciate y'all.
Later.
Peace.